Bobbi never knew what was going on until she did. She could sit through an entire dinner acting unaware, smiling, refilling glasses, asking thoughtful questions. And then, when the tone shifted even slightly, she would tighten. Not visibly, internally. Bobbi gave easily. Money, time, access, introductions, space in her home, a place at the table. She liked being the one who provided, but her giving was never loose, it was structured. She didn't announce the terms up front. That would have sounded crude. Instead, she made sure people understood them over time. I've done so much for you. I've always been there. After everything I've given. The generosity carried weight. It wasn't a gift, it was positioning. Bobbi needed people to remember what she had done. Not out of insecurity, she would have called it fairness. Reciprocity mattered to her. What she struggled with was the idea that someone might accept her help and still disagree with her. That someone could take the gift and reject the control. When she didn't get her way, the accounting began. She would recount sacrifices, remind them of favors, revisit moments of support with precision. She wasn't yelling, she was collecting. Bobbi didn't understand why people grew distant afterward. She truly didn't. In her mind, she had helped. She had shown up. She had invested. How could someone be upset with her? How could they ignore everything she had provided? What she couldn't see was the condition underneath it. Her generosity came with alignment. Her support came with expectation. Her help came with loyalty clauses no one agreed to, but everyone felt. If someone chose differently than she advised, especially her daughters, it felt like betrayal. Not because they hurt her, because they broke contract. Bobbi never thought of love as transactional, but she organized it like one. And when the returns didn't come in on schedule, she didn't see control. She saw ingratitude. This episode does a few important things. Shows conditional generosity without caricature. Keeps Bobbi intelligent and structured. Makes her confusion believable. Connects cleanly to the money, plus narrative control threads. Deepens the daughter's eventual distance. If you want, next we can go. Bobbi. When people stopped owing her, that would hit very hard. Bobbi separated her daughters. She identified what was important to them and made sure they always knew it and always knew what they would have when she was no longer here. She knew she had to create a silent competition and division, but remain unaware of the conflict. Good. This is colder, but it can still be written intelligently, not cartoonishly. The key is to show strategic awareness paired with emotional denial. We don't make her twirl a mustache. We make her design proximity. Here's the episode. Bobbi, the inheritance of proximity. Bobbi believed in clarity. She made sure her daughters knew what mattered to them. Not what they said mattered, what actually did. Security, approval, attention, status, stability, being chosen. Bobbi watched carefully. She always had. She noticed which daughter lit up at praise, which one relaxed around money, which one fought for independence but still needed reassurance. She never said she was studying them. She called it understanding. Bobbi talked about the future casually. When I'm gone, you'll have this. I've always made sure you're taken care of. You don't have to worry. I've thought about everything. She didn't threaten. She reminded. She made sure each daughter knew there was something waiting for her, but never the whole picture. Pieces, hints, signals. Not enough to feel secure, just enough to feel tethered. Bobbi never told them to compete. She didn't have to. When one daughter received something, the other noticed. When one was confided in, the other sensed it. When one felt closer, the other recalculated. Bobbi would look at the tension and shake her head gently. I don't know why you girls can't just get along. She meant it. That's what made it effective. Because in her mind, she hadn't created conflict. She had created motivation. Bobbi believed proximity had to be earned. Loyalty reinforced, gratitude refreshed. Division wasn't the goal, control was, and control thrives best when no one can quite prove where it started. She kept the peace publicly. She maintained the image of fairness. She never openly compared. She just distributed attention with precision. Each daughter felt special. Each daughter felt uncertain. Bobbi told herself she was preparing them for a world where resources weren't guaranteed. She didn't see that she had made love feel conditional. She didn't think she was dividing them. She thought she was maintaining balance. And balance to Bobbi always meant she stayed in the center. When someone questions her lack of sincerity, remembered what she was like when she was younger. Rumors meant relevance. What she couldn't tolerate was someone seeing through her. When someone questioned her sincerity, calmly, directly, something shifted behind her eyes. Not panic, calculation. Because questioning her kindness was one thing, questioning her authenticity was another. Occasionally, someone would mention who she used to be, the younger version, the one who moved through town with heat around her name, the one whose relationships overlapped, the one who collected admiration the way others collected savings. There had been whispers back then, about men who compared notes, about partners who didn't feel as singular as they believed, as freedom, as other people being unable to handle a woman who knew what she wanted. I remember how things were. People talked. You weren't always so composed. That was the trigger. Bobbi didn't fear the truth. She feared loss of authorship, and nothing boiled her blood faster than someone else picking up the pen.